I want to talk to you a little about paying for real estate services. When you agree to pay a real estate agent 6% to list your home, you're actually paying two fees. You're paying for your agent, called the listing agent, to help you market your home, and you're paying for the buyer's agent to help them buy your home. So, when you agree to pay 6%, you're actually paying 3% plus 3%. The good news is that it's incredibly easy to save money on seller services today. While traditional real estate agents will try to convince you to pay them 3% commission to sell your home, without shopping around at all, you can find an agent who will do it for 1.5%. And if you're willing to do a little shopping around, you can probably find an agent who will do it for 1%, or better yet, a flat fee of $3,000 to $5,000. The bottom line is that it's very easy to save money on seller services today. But if you want to save big money when selling your home, you've got to learn to reduce what you pay for buyer services. And that's rather difficult. The reason it's difficult is because of what I call Problem 1. In the US and Canada, it is customary to have the seller pay for the buyer's agent. Offering less to the buyer's agent leads to buyer steering. What that means is that you have to pay for a service that benefits somebody else, but you don't get to choose them, and more importantly, you don't get to negotiate with them. That's the equivalent of having to pay for the lawyer who's suing you and paying whatever fee they demand. How big of a problem is this? To put things in perspective, in the US, where the seller is expected to pay for the buyer's agent's commission, the commission to sell a $300,000 home is about $18,000. In Australia, where the seller is not expected to pay for the buyer's agent, that same house would cost you about $4,500 to sell. $18,000 in the US, $4,500 in Australia. Now you know why I call it Problem 1. The only way you can negotiate buyer's agent's fees is by offering less than the customary amount. The problem with offering less is that it leads to buyer steering. What is buyer steering? Buyer steering is when buyer's agents keep their buyers away from your low commission home until you raise your commission back up to an acceptable rate. In other words, extortion. This is a problem few sellers know about, and even less know what to do about it. But I'm going to teach you what to do about it in this class, because I want you to save serious money when you sell. So, how does buyer steering happen? 3 ways. First, if the buyer depends on the agent to select which homes to see, they simply won't show buyers the low commission homes. Second, if the buyer finds the home themselves, the agent will subtly try and talk them out of it by pointing out all the flaws in the home. And the final way is sabotage. Suppose the buyer finds a low commission home and wants to make an offer. All the agent has to do is to convince the buyer to make a lowball offer. It's guaranteed to tick off the seller and, more importantly, keep the home from selling. The bottom line is that buyer steering is real, and it can happen anytime you try and offer less than the customary commission to the buyer's agent. It happened to me when I went to sell my home. The buyer's agent told my agent that his buyer would not be making an offer on my home until I raised his commission. Apparently, the $14,000 commission I had already offered him wasn't enough. If you still don't believe it's a problem, I encourage you to read the white paper published by the National Bureau of Economic Research. There's a link to it in the class notes. It's problem 1, and you've got to solve it if you want to save serious money when you sell your home.